Hello viewers, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. Thank you for all your comments and engagement with this channel. It's really hard to keep up with what is unfolding in the US at the moment. It's absolutely, it's a very, very, very quick pace. Every day there's something new, almost something every hour. And of course, before I came on to read today, I opened up my news feed and there we have it. The acting Homeland Security Secretary has resigned. That is on the heels of a senior advisor to Pompeo in the State Department, someone who is very well respected. He's resigned as well. You know, I can only hope that they actually do speak up about why they resigned in the future. Perhaps they will do so once Trump is gone. But it would be nice to see like H.R. McMaster's actually speak up and say what they think is wrong with this presidency. But we still have the political tides turning. So this is, you know, by and large, a political process for Republicans and those that surround the Trump the Trump presidency. Okay, now Giuliani is now Rudy Giuliani. I'm not going to go into the news in great depth. You can get all that on the media, but I'll just preface my readings with a sentence or two. Rudy Giuliani, Trump's lawyer, who he's backing away from. He didn't even have a response, really. He said, I don't know if Giuliani's still my lawyer. And of course, we hearken back to Michael Cohen. This is what he said about Michael Cohen. Where's Michael Cohen? Michael Cohen's in prison. Rudy Giuliani is under criminal investigation in connection with the two Ukrainians. I just want to go back to, I can't remember the date of my reading, but there were questions that came up around Trump's PAC. And I did feel that there was some kind of money trail there with his PACs. That would have been going back a couple of months ago. So it turns out that this is why these two Ukrainians were arrested. But more so, it appears now the former ambassador to Ukraine has now testified under subpoena, quite willing to testify, as is Fiona Hill, I think on Monday, and we'll read on that. That there was Fiona Hill, it's reported, has come out and said that, again, another very, very senior national security advisor, she's come out and reportedly said that Trump and Giuliani were operating shadow foreign policy in Ukraine in order to get dirt on Joe Biden, but also to foreign election interference as well. So, starting with Rudy Giuliani, he's now under FBI, or he's now under criminal investigation. Now, if you saw Berman, who runs SDNY, come out and speak on the arrests of the two Ukrainians who have been indicted for donations through Trump's PACs or Trump's PAC, and also to various GOP politicians as well, Kevin McCarthy. I won't go too deeply into it. But Berman actually said in that press conference that, and he looked in the camera directly and said, anyone else who's guilty of breaking the law, we're coming after you. Now, Giuliani, under criminal investigation, the key question here is, will Giuliani be indicted? When Trump starts to distance himself like that, you know, it's a good indication he knows what's coming. And all we need to remember back to Michael Cohen. But these people stepped into that noose of their own making. Rudy Giuliani, once a fighter of crime, now it looks like could even be indicted. But let's ask, will Rudy Giuliani be indicted for his part in these election violations, these donations, straw donations? Okay, so we've got the Wheel of Fortune happening here. Oh, what a tangled web. This is also time. It's also karma. Will Rudy Giuliani be indicted? for these criminal. He's under criminal investigations. Will Rudy Giuliani be indicted? Okie dokie. So we have the Ten of Cups, which is my card for the American voters. But this is quite interesting. This is the Wild Unknown Tarot deck that I'm using, and I'll bring the laptop down. That's the box. Look at the ties, the networks. These are binding. These aren't cut or severed in any way. And they are. This is the card of families. It is the card of networks. It is the card of community. It is the card, I do believe, where we've got civility, where we've got the rule of law, where we've got democracy coming in, and it's a supportive card, not a card that indicates that progress isn't being made. Now, challenged by the Tower. So again, I'll read in layers. The Ten of Cups, my signifier card or my archetype for the American voters. You could take that one step further and talk about democracy and rule of law. Is being challenged by the Tower moment. Now, the Tower moment in this deck is being hit by lightning. This is the tallest pine tree being hit, and structures are crumbling, and it is burning. This is really what is going on in America at the moment. What we're seeing is this corruption emerging in the highest office. We're seeing what is playing out in Syria. American troops were actually attacked mistakenly by Turkey. And they were thinking of defending themselves, and of course Trump now comes out and says we don't have any troops in Syria. And then when he was asked, well, will he take action against Turkey? We're looking into that. Well, come on. Okay, so structures are crumbling, and as a result, that's why these people are finding their voice, and they're coming forward, like the former ambassador of Ukraine, like Fiona Hill. People are coming forward now, like the whistleblowers. It's because these structures are being assaulted, and we've got these lightning bolts raining down as well. What's going to hold? Will these cords that bind, will they hold? Is the legal structures, that America, the democracy structures that America is underpinned by, are they going to be the safety net? Because we don't know that. We don't know that yet. It's unfolding. Okay, so he's juggling with this Two of Pentacles. He's absolutely juggling, and he has to make a decision. And I do believe that if he is indicted, we haven't got to the end of the reading, one of the decisions that he will have to make is if he will turn evidence over on Trump, which is exactly what Michael Cohen did. Now, we've got the Ten of Pentacles in the background, and of course this is my card for the Trump Organization, for dark money in politics. I have to say that when the Ukrainian situation first broke, I did suggest that there was something more to this. The Three of Wands kept coming up, which is suggesting commerce and expansion. And this shadow policy that they were running, it wasn't just to get dirt on Biden. It was it was about money as well for these Ukrainian donators, and also carrying rewards, business opportunities for Trump allies. So it's yet to be revealed how all of this ties in with the Trump Organization, but you can bet that it does. Now, in other further developments, we have the federal court ruling that the House is entitled to those tax returns. However, this will go all the way to the Supreme Court. So let's see how the Supreme Court is likely to rule with Brett Kavanaugh there. All right, so right now we have this wonderful Star of Hope. So anyone who's alarmed, anyone who's feeling rocked, and you're entitled to be rocked, I'm rocked. Absolutely, I'm rocked. We've got the Star of Hope there, and this is this guiding light that in some decks is capable of parting the waters and giving you safe passage across tumultuous seas to the shoreline, to the opposite shoreline. We've got the Ace of Cups in the immediate future. This is a yes card. And I do believe that Giuliani will be indicted, but there's something more there as well. This Ace of Cups with this overflowing emotion. I will be reading on the full moon in Aries. I'd like you to, if you can, watch that, because this is what's happening at the moment. It's this outpouring, and it's of grief, yes, sure. In some cases, it's fear, but predominantly it's anger. It's anger and emotion, and this is also what's driving these new starts. And for Giuliani, what is he going to be doing? He's going to be, I think, eventually with this Two of Pentacles, turning over evidence on Trump. Right now, we've got the Three of Swords. This is loss for Giuliani. He's bound. He's going to struggle to get free from a potential indictment. And if he is indicted, he's going to struggle because, like we know, Trump always has a fall guy. And in this case, Giuliani is the fall guy. One would have thought that Giuliani was a little bit more clever than that. However, Giuliani, unfortunately, somewhere along the line, took a turn. And as we see so often, the choices or the wrong choices that we see that people make come back to haunt them in the latter stages of their life. This could also indicate heart problems for Giuliani as well. We so far have not seen any of these major players, who are all elderly men, cave under the pressure of what's going on. Giuliani is not a well person. Now we have the Nine of Cups as the environment, and this is the Wish card. So that's linking with this Ace of Cups. I do believe these are miracles as well. I'll get a clarification on that to see where that fits in. It's sitting right alongside the Three of Swords, loss. And it's linking with the Star of Hope, the Ace of Cups, the Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment. Are we going to get our wish? Are we seeing our wish right now as all of this is unfolding? Giuliani's great fear is the past and the evidence that might be there, the trail that might be there. This is also a reunion with self, going back to a better time. So it's also a hope as well. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants this. And I think even the most corrupt of structures who may be aiding and abetting this presidency are watching things unfold, and people will start to be taking cover soon. It's the kind of momentum that is not going to be stopped. We know that with that Star of Hope coming back here. It's a crossroads, and he will have to make a decision. And he will also, the other aspect of this is a compromise. He will have no choice. This is him in between these swords. There is no getting away. There is only perhaps for Giuliani one decision to make, and that's to cooperate with the feds. The Queen of Swords is suggesting investigation, but this is also impeachment as well. So you might see Giuliani cooperating with Congress at the end of the day. He does have a Watergate lawyer, but the Mother of Swords is my card for the Democrats, and particularly Pelosi. The Two of Cups, investigation of his deals, investigation of his partnerships. So who Giuliani has been tied to is going to be the subject. He's at the crossroads. There are going to be decisions that need to be made. The Queen of Swords being the investigator. And sometimes represents the lawyers as well. I don't know which lawyers are on this case in SDNY, but we could have females as well. This could also be the ambassador to former ambassador to Ukraine and Fiona Hill, who all have a story to tell. The the Congress about the shadow policy that Giuliani was running in Ukraine for Trump. Now, the Daughter of Cups, base of the pack energies, bombshells, news coming out. We don't even know everything yet. We've got the Seven of Wands, Giuliani having to defend himself. Look, this is one stick here in the midst of darkness. The other sticks could well be out of his grasp. So Giuliani is going to be defending himself. There's going to be another bombshell. Is that the indictment coming forward? I suggest to you that it is, because we have the King of Swords, both the King and Queen of Swords, the investigators, the truth coming out, and we have also the Son of Swords, which is the Page of Swords in this deck, suggesting that I'm betting, I haven't read on it yet, but the testimony from Fiona Hill will be absolutely critical here, because I wondered about Berman. Berman's a Trump appointment. He's the US attorney for the SDNY, District of SDNY. And of course he's overseen by Barr. And let's get this really straight. This is Manhattan and New York attorney generals are at the state level. SDNY, Berman is a Trump appointee and is overseen by Barr. But you've got an unfolding congressional process here that is uncovering violations of your law, and SDNY is actually moving in tandem with that. So I see a connection between these charges at the SDNY level and also the congressional the impeachment inquiry, very connected where Giuliani are concerned. They're intertwined and overlapping. Okay, so Giuliani likely to be indicted, and pretty soon, I think. Okay, so let's have a look at. I've got a lot to read through, so I might do this in two parts, and then I'll clock off for the weekend. So. Fiona Hill, National Security. She was advisor. I think she's a Russian hawk, Russian policy hawk. She's now. It's reported that she will come before Congress and testify on this shadow policy. She seems to be featuring in the Giuliani reading that I've just done. Let's see what Fiona Hill's going to say. Will this be damaging for Trump? Fiona Hill, is this going to be damaging to Trump? Fiona Hill's testimony, will it be damaging for Trump? Actually, let me just get her exact title so that you know. And if you want to do your own research at the end of this reading, you can. Okay, she's a American foreign affairs specialist and national security official, specializing in the former Soviet Union and Russian European affairs. She's Trump's former top Russian advisor, and she will be explaining to Congress that she was unaware of some things going on in Ukraine. Okay, right, Ukraine. So she's an expert. She's an expert in that region, Russia, Ukraine, and she's going to be testifying. Let's have a look about Fiona Hill. What's she likely to be bringing forward, and will this be damaging? Will the information that Fiona Hill is likely to bring forward be damaging to Trump? Because this is not, the dirt on Biden's just the surface. We've got multi-leveled possible corruption going on here, from trying to get interference in 2020, trying to get dirt on Biden, donations to PACs, and also business opportunities for Trump's allies. Now, Trump's not gratuitously just saying, here, I'm going to foster interests here for my friends. There's got to be a kickback for Trump. Is that why he's trying to keep his tax returns so so under wraps. There's more. There's more. There's always more with Trump. Okay, so Fiona Hill, this is likely to be detrimental. The information she's bringing forward likely to damage Trump and Giuliani, particularly Giuliani and Trump. Okay, so we've got the Star of Hope here. I don't know who's on Twitter here, but you can see some really lovely posts about the Ukrainian and the former Ukrainian ambassador, and it's the same with Fiona Hill. They are displaying the diplomatic values and policy and diplomacy experience and talent and capability that has made America's State Department such an important force in across the world. You're going to see that on display. Now, what's she challenged by? There's an insecurity here. Is that on the part of the Republicans? Is this on the part of Pompeo? Whatever she's going to be bringing forward is incredibly damaging with the Tower card here, which we saw come through in our last reading. The King of Swords in the past, the investigators. So she's been talking, I think, already. And we've got the Six of Swords. This is abuse. This is abuse of power. That's what she's going to be talking about, abuse of power. And she's going to be a very, very strong communicator. Now, let's hope that she's not blocked from testifying, because with this challenge here, with this Four of Pentacles, it's a possibility. I hope that she can, that they're not going to assert executive privilege. Okay, so the near future, we've got the Nine of Swords. A lot of anxiety over Fiona Hill's testimony. Absolutely a lot of anxiety. Let's have a look at what's going on now. The Knight of Swords. Yeah, this is the truth coming forward in no uncertain terms. She's got, and the Queen of Swords. Knight and the Queen. Right now with Fiona Hill, she's got something really important to say. And we've got the hopes and the fears. This is the Ten of Wands. It's very, very difficult situation all round, including for Fiona Hill. And we've got the Daughter of Swords. So this is like the Page of Swords. Swords. Let me just go back. This is the Knight of Wands. Sometimes it's hard in this deck to actually see a wand from a sword. The Knight of Wands is taking action, inspired action, which is the impeachment, and we've got the House here with the Queen of Swords. My card for the Democrats. Now we've got the Daughter of Swords. In this case, I do believe that this is the Page of Swords, and of course there's a wisdom about Fiona Hill's testimony, and there's lights in the dark. So even though what she faces now is a really significant situation, a very difficult situation for her all round, what she faces now, she's going to bring, her testimony is going to be extremely strong. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. There's money involved here. She's going to be testifying directly to these two Ukrainian businessmen that have been indicted, stopped from leaving the country, going to the heart of the exchange. Okay, so there's a quid pro quo. All round. It's not just at the getting dirt on Biden. It's the donations. I do believe the donations to Trump's PAC. And we've got, the Trump, the businessman. So there's her testimony is actually going to bring forward the dirt, or not the dirt, is going to bring forward the truth around the money in the Ukrainian, what can I call it? Scandal, crisis, the subject of impeachment inquiry. Base of the pack energies. I asked if it's going to damage Trump. There is this three of swords. This loss. We've got the past coming back to bite Trump, and we've got this Ace of Swords. Her testimony is absolutely going to create a lot of emotions. However, we do have the Eight of Swords. Now, I haven't asked, which is restriction. I haven't asked if she will be restricted in testifying. But what she has to say, I do feel she will eventually testify if she is restricted. And her testimony is going to be damning, absolutely damning, in terms of what it will do in linking the monetary, the shadow policy with money. Okay, so there's loss for Trump with Fiona Hill. So he would be wanting to stop her testimony. Okay, so let's ask that. Is Trump going to try and prevent her from speaking? Is Trump going to try and prevent Fiona Hill from speaking? Is Trump going to prevent Fiona Hill from speaking? Trump, prevent Fiona Hill. Former senior advisor, Russian, Ukrainian specialist. Is he going to prevent her from testifying? Okay, the Father of Pentacles is the signifier card. Okay, that's Trump, the businessman. That's my card. And look at what he's challenged by. The absolutely, the Ace of Cups, new starts, but this is overwhelming emotion. Okay, so it's almost like he's going to find it difficult to hold this back. We've got the Queen of Wands as the foundation of the reading. Somebody who sees something, sees what's hidden, and this is a momentum that Trump can't stop. We've got judgment. There is just so much judgment around Trump at this point in time, and rightly so. We've got the Five of Cups, which is the loss card, as the potential future and the reaction to loss. And we've got the Four of Cups in the immediate future. This is disappointment, and you can see in this card there's a dirty rat over those cups. So an interesting depiction of the Four of Cups in the Wild Unknown Tarot. Right now we've got Justice playing out, Justice being black and white in this deck, and surrounding that we've got both the Fool and New Beginnings. Okay, so even if he does restrict her, he's not going to, in the longer term, be successful. The hopes and the fears control. This is my Trump the President card in the hopes and fears position. And we've got the Hermit isolating her. But this is also investigation, introspection, and necessary insight, trying to get insight into something. We have the Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving help. Okay, is Bar going to step in here? And we've got the Three of Pentacles, teamwork. There are three people involved in this scenario. It is quite possible he'll try and exert executive privilege over this testimony because it's incredibly damning. I hope I'm wrong. Okay, the Five of Swords in this case. Okay, so we've got Five of Swords. Yep. So these swords or wands, it's hard to tell. No, this is the abuse of power. Okay, so that's what's going on at the moment. Strength is being brought to bear on this, and we've got retreat. Okay, and also we've got the Hanged Man, nothing moving forward, and we've got this insecurity. This insecurity card that came up in the challenge position. It's entirely possible he'll try and stop her from testifying, but in the longer run, I don't think he's going to be successful because I actually do feel that this lost card is for him. I hope her testimony goes ahead. I'm not sure if she's got a subpoena or not. Let's see. Now, I'm just... where are we at? I'm going to close this down and do a part two because I want to get to Bar and his meeting with Murdoch as well, and Shep Smith, the objective, independent Fox News anchor, has resigned today, coincidentally on the same, I think it's the same day that Murdoch met with Barr. I'll look more broadly at the tax returns, if that goes to the High Court, and then also the border wall. Now, a federal court has ruled that Trump's declaration of emergency and taking those funds from the military budget against the wishes of Congress is actually unlawful. So, you know, that's interesting, that one as well. And finally, why are people resigning? I should say I've seen at least one more Republican, I think he might be in the House, come out and said, basically instructed his chief of staff that he to get it out there, he no longer supports Donald Trump. So some big things are happening. All right, I'll shut this down. We'll go for part 2.